Yes.
Okay, my name is Dr. Adi, and I'm here from PPP lah.
PPP.
Pusat Perkhidmatan Pendidikan, where I help the TNC and Pengarah High Faculty for the visibility of research.
Okay, that's good.
Which before this tak banyak dibuat. And I help them to share our stories dekat mass media, social media. So today, actually saya dah pergi satu UM dah, but not everything lah, sikit-sikit. And today kita are lucky to have you, because I know you for quite some time. Kita kenal 2018
2017 masa National Science Challenge tu.
2017.
Yeah, long time ago.
So from that time I know you work on mushroom.
Yes.
And your work is quite unique sebab lain pada orang lain. Macam Prof Hum dia lain sikit.
Prof Hum dia lain
sikit. You punya lain sikit. So itu yang I think you punya work is quite interesting. So today kalau you don't mind, kita nak share you lah as a person. And then maybe you select sikit pasal your research lah. So perhaps boleh start dengan introduce yourself dari mana.
Okay, my name is Chia Wei. Family name is Phan lah. So you can call me Phan or call me Chia Wei. So I'm actually from Melaka. Melaka, so orang Melaka. So I like spicy food. And then my favorite will be like cendol lah, especially cendol durian. It's a very signature food from Melaka. So I did Melaka Bandar. They call Bandar Hilir. Ya, dekat dengan dataran pahlawan. Dulu when I was young, it was a padang pahlawan. Sekarang dah jadi shopping mall dah.
Dulu busy macam sekarang ke? Jam macam sekarang ke dulu?
Yes, Melaka will be very jam, but the jam is not comparable to KL lah. To me, Melaka the jam is okay. The jam is just okay. Yeah. So I did my Bachelor of
sorry, before the school, sekolah?
San Francisco. San Francisco. Are you from Melaka? So I'm from San Francisco. Then then I did my Bachelor of Microbiology. So my background is microbiology in UKM. University
Pharmacy?
Not pharmacy. So pharmacy, we have two groups of lecturers, basic science lecturers and pharmacist lecturer lah. So I'm not a pharmacist, I'm basic science. That's why I'm placed under Department of Pharmaceutical Life Sciences. So I teach microbiology, infectious diseases, biotechnology and things like that. Then I did my masters. My masters I divert a little bit because I did engineering. So I did engineering, I did environmental engineering. So I got a scholarship, Commonwealth scholarship to do it in University of Nottingham. Nottingham, bukan yang Malaysia lah. So Nottingham. So I did environmental engineering because when I was doing my bachelor degree in UKM, I did bioremediation.
Apa itu?
Bioremediation meaning that I use bacteria to degrade petroleum contaminant. Hold on, I just want to mute my thing.
Degrade means what?
Degrade means dia macam degrade the petroleum spill in the sea.
Yang tumpah.
Yang tumpah.
So dalam kereta.
Dia degrade sebab dia adalah satu pencemar lah, like contaminant. So kita tak nak yang oil spill kan. So kita buat biodegradation using bacteria. So it all boiled down to environmental engineering lah. So I did my coursework, 1 year coursework, master actually in environmental engineering. Then I came back after 1 year to work. Actually, I didn't wanted to. No, I always wanted to do a PhD. So I came back, but then I have to work lah to support family and things like that. So I worked for about 2.5 years in a factory in Melaka. Then I wanted to do a PhD before 30 years old. So I decided to scout around opportunity in UM lah. Because to me, UM is still in the heart of KL, so it's logistically wise is easier for me to travel, and UM is the top university in Malaysia. That's why I wanted to do it in Malaysia. So
Is it continuation from your master work?
Actually no. Then then lain lah. So I then jump a little bit to. I wanted to, because when I was doing the masters, my project was on lactase, which is an enzyme from lactase, which is a degradative enzyme from bacteria and fungi. So at that time, I actually used lactase from two mushrooms, which is Traumatis versicolor and Agaricus bisporus. These two mushrooms.
That's the source of your bacteria.
That is the source of the lactase enzyme. Of the enzyme. So I got very interested in mushrooms after that. So I wanted to continue to do the research on lactase. So I scout around, then I met Professor Vicky Neswari Sabaratnam from Faculty of Science. She is actually doing on lactase. So I in contact with her, and at that time, fortunate enough, we have the high impact research grant, huge money there. So she decided to recruit me as an RA. Then I continued my PhD there because we have enough funding because of HIR.
You mind sharing what year is that?
I completed my PhD. I started doing I started doing PhD 2012. Then I finished 2015 actually. It took me 3 years now.
Very good.
Yeah.
So may I know why yang that enzyme lactase, you more interested in the fungi one, not the bacteria source one?
Oh yeah, because you asked a very good question, because after that I like fungi more because we can see fungi, because when they grow on the plate, right, so it looks like very hairy, like the one that you look.
Bacteria don't do that.
Bacteria, they do that, but they are not as beautiful to me. I don't know, but when I see like the bumbung or dinding got like small spot, I think it's beautiful. And then I always wanted to scrape down and identify what is the species of the fungi. Then my interest also extend to mushroom, which is a higher fungi. Higher fungi meaning that they are more macroscopic. They are more easily spotted by naked eye. They form a fruiting body, which is the mushroom that we see.
Kalau ada fruiting body, that's a mushroom.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, because it is actually their sexual organ It's just like flower. They flower, then the flower got apa dia? The flower is actually their organ for sexual reproduction. Yeah. Mushrooms also they flower, but they don't flower. They fruit, but they don't fruit as a fruit. They fruit the mushrooms, the fruiting body that you are eating. That is fruiting body. Then that's why the fruiting body contains spores. Spora. The spora is for sexual reproduction.
I learned something today.
Yeah.
Alright. So what you're working on now, is it still continuing from your PhD or something totally new?
So what I'm doing now is actually I'm focusing on the medicinal properties of mushrooms. So mushrooms, like what I say, they produce lactase. Lactase is actually very powerful for degrading lignin, degrading polymers. That is a contaminant. But then I also divert sikit to discovering the medicinal properties of compound in mushrooms for various diseases. Not to the per se of treatment, but maybe prevention. Yeah, because mushroom has a high beta-glucan content and high content of polysaccharide. They are actually very good for anti-diabetic and also anti-obesity properties.
Okay, all these properties are very useful, I know.
Yeah.
But how do you start? How do you identify which mushroom? Do you know it from orang tua ke, kedai ginseng Cina ke, macam mana? Mana you dapat idea?
Yeah, the idea is actually first thing first we discuss with the supervisor lah. But then it's all come down to the old folk medicine. Old folk medicine. Like for example, contohnya cendawan apa dia? Kepala kera, or what we call monkey head mushroom. Sekarang because ada cendawan, I actually bring I bring a sample. Profong is cendawan susu harimau. So this is kepala kera. But then in Malaysia, the MARDI and then the Kementerian, they don't like to name cendawan based on animal lah. So they change kepala kera to bunga kobis.
Okay.
Sebab it really looks like bunga kobis. I can show you an example. I bawa hari ni. Cendawan bunga kobis.
Dia
macam ni lah.
bagus untuk apa ni? Do you know what is good for?
Dia dah kering dah. Dia memang macam dia berbulu-bulu sikit. Dia memang macam kepala monyet.
Toffee dia macam toffee.
Toffee. Truffle. Truffle is different. Truffle macam ni tapi truffle dalam tanah.
Truffle tu is a mushroom kan?
Truffle is mushroom.
Why so expensive?
Oh my god, sebab dia tak boleh cultivate artificially. Dia kena
Yang ni tak mahal.
mahal juga.
This one mahal juga.
Kalau satu pack tu 100 gram RM18 macam tu lah. Okay, yang ni lain.
Ini semua boleh ditanam lah kan? I mean,
ya.
it's not wild kan?
Dia wild tapi kita domesticate dia. Yang ni lain lagi.
Maknanya ini boleh cultivate.
Boleh, ini boleh cultivate. So I ada banyak lagi lah. So kalau dia yang ni dia lain sebab dia lain sikit sebab di bulu dia dah macam mature lah, dia ada bulu macam tu. Nanti boleh ambil.
Oh, macam Sonic kan? Sonic the
Macam Sonic the Hedgehog. Tapi kita kata dia looks like a monkey head lah. Tapi kita rename it untuk branding supaya orang lebih suka, kita jadikan dia cendawan bunga kobis. Lagi sedap lah, lagi friendly.
Tapi yang ni tak nampak macam bunga kobis ni. Yang tu je.
Yang ni nampak macam kepala kera sebab dia berbulu. Yang tu nampak macam bunga kobis.
Yeah.
So my research actually a lot on this sebab dia baik untuk pertumbuhan saraf.
Itu you dah buktikan ke atau
kita buat neurobehavioral study on mice, on rat and also on animal cell culture.
Oh, you dah buat maksudnya? You
dah.
Extract the compound
Dah.
and then you dah test dekat tikus.
Dah. So we have published a lot of that study. So the compound we have it's called Hericinon A to D lah. Hericinon A, Hericinon D. Semua dia baik untuk like neurite outgrowth. Like if let's say the neurite, the cell saraf, the neuronal cells very difficult to extend their neurite, they can help to extend the neurite and form synapses. So it's very good for memory and learning also.
How do you prove that? How, I mean, in mice contohnya, tadi you test this on mice. So what do you look for? Just for general knowledge?
Just for general knowledge.
Because you mentioned memory tadi kan?
Memory.
How do you test memory in mice?
So that's why we team up with Department of Pharmacology. So we have neurobehavioral studies lah. So we actually make the mice or rat to eat the mushrooms. We prepare the mushroom diet for them. So we actually put them into maze. We make it into maze like we time whether how fast the rat from beginning to finish the maze to the exit. So we base on time and also based on their behavior, whether or not dia patah balik ke, dia boleh remember dia punya pathway keluar ke. And then we also use a water maze. So kita buat dia tenggelam dalam we prepare a column. So we shoot dia whether or not dia boleh cari platform on that column supaya dia tak tenggelam. So dia boleh cari platform tu untuk selamatkan diri macam tu lah. So dia become more cerdik and yeah.
So that's the proof that
that's the proof.
The mushroom works lah.
Yeah. And now we are planning to do it in clinical trials, but we wanted to team up with, let's say
clinical means manusia lah.
Manusia, yeah.
So kena masuk manusia juga ke macam mana?
Tak. So maybe we just like focusing on aged people, like people with dementia, like light dementia. Then we can actually see their progression, whether or not dia boleh stop the progression of dementia. Dia tak jadi lebih teruk lah. We can't expect them to become like overnight become more smart or what, but we can stop their progression. Yeah, this one we are planning to do lah.
So outside of your work ni, ada tak orang lain work on the same mushroom also?
Actually yes, we got the inspiration from Professor Kawagishi. He is the one who discovered that this is good for neuronal health. But in Malaysia, we domesticated a species yang dekat dengan climate kita. So dia jadi tropical. This is Malaysian one. Because they are Japanese one, they actually grow during the winter. So with the hot climate in Malaysia, we also produce this, kita tanam this, and then we also found that the properties is preserved in the hericium mushrooms that is cultivated and domesticated in Malaysia.
Species sama pun kan? Is it the same species?
Actually, it's the same species. Just that the condition of culturing is close to Malaysia tropical climate lah.
So what's the status now? Can we buy this on the shop now? Or?
Yes, you can buy this from the shop. We actually had a close relationship with local grower. So I myself is from Mushroom Research Center. So we work closely with MARDI. So we teach MARDI how to tanam good quality mushrooms. We give them, we team up to come up with a good seed lah, or good spawn, or good strain. And then we also team up with local growers. So local grower actually grow this, and they are selling at fresh. Yang ni dah dikeringkan. So some of them they sell fresh from the farm. Yeah.
And fresh pun sama, dia punya benefit dia sama.
Yes.
With the
Yeah.
one. Okay. So what do you plan to do next? Now you kata you dah boleh extract, effect dah terbukti has been proven. Next, of course, you want to do clinical trials. Tapi what else do you foresee in the future? Because you're still young.
I think I would want to continue to do it in the manusia lah, like human trial. Because to me, it's not easy lah to carry out on human. And it's not easy. And then funding is an issue lah. So I'm actually looking for company who wants to team up and then also do this clinical trial. It's still a long way actually. Because
4 orang boleh test.
Yeah.
Masuk mes keluar balik.
Something like that lah. And then other than that, I'm still interested to do on mushrooms actually.
Other mushroom you mean?
Other mushrooms.
For other medicinal properties.
Yeah, for other medicinal properties actually.
Can you share if you don't mind?
Still on neuronal health lah. To keeping neuronal health, dementia, Alzheimer, and then maybe depression, and because nowadays people are talking about mental health a lot lah. So they can be good for antidepressant. And other than that also, not only the good about mushrooms, I'm actually doing on the bad about mushrooms. So one of my another project is mushroom poisoning. Mushroom poisoning. So I plan to do more community engagement to teach people how to differentiate good and bad mushrooms. And sometimes the bad mushrooms can turn into something that is very good to treat human diseases also.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like for example, magic mushrooms. People take magic mushrooms, if they overdose, they die. But with the optimum dosage, they can actually cure, depression and things like that.
As a general rule, as a researcher dalam bidang ni, macam mana kita nak tahu whether a mushroom is dead for you or not? Katalah kita jalan-jalan di rumah kan, nampak mushroom tumbuh, kita boleh ambil tak?
Actually boleh ambil, badan adalah, it takes experience. Like my father used to work in rubber estate, so dia selalu jumpa cendawan busut. Pernah dengar cendawan busut tak? Dia memang sedap lah, dia tumbuh kat sarang anai-anai. So you kena tarik, kalau you tarik tu tangkai dia panjang. Kalau tangkai dia panjang, you know that is cendawan busut lah. Kalau it's okay. It takes experience. Kalau ada cendawan yang seiras cendawan busut tapi dia cendawan beracun, that is Chlorophyllum mollidax lah. That one is Malaysia. Mushroom poisoning 100% caused by that mushrooms. Dia macam bentuk dia dan warna dia sama dengan cendawan busut, tapi dia tangkai dia pendek. You tak boleh nak tarik dia daripada tanah. So tangkai dia kecil. So orang akan termakan tu dan cerit-berit. Ada satu case kematian lah. So I think to me you boleh makan, tapi saya selalu cakap to the public is that, let's say for example you collect this much, but then you keep 2. Jangan makan semua lah. I always say jangan makan semua, keep 2. Kalau apa-apa jadi kat you boleh bawa ni pergi hospital. Sebab kita dah so kita dah team up dengan because UMResearch project, kita dah team up dengan Kementerian Kesihatan. So let's say you have mushroom poisoning, kita dah come up with a mechanism. Kalau you bawa sampel, dia punya health officer will go to the site, to go to the collection site to actually collect the mushrooms, and then they will send the sample to Mushroom Research Center in UM. Kita buat DNA sequencing to identify the species. Sebab doktor tu tak boleh nak treat patient kalau dia tak tahu species. Treatment regime tu kena spesifik kepada jenis mushroom dia.
Oh, lain mushroom cause a different kind of poison.
Yes, betul. Betul.
Although the symptom memang sama kan, dia muntah, sakit perut.
Ada yang sakit perut, ada yang otak dia tak berapa nak, dia macam loya something macam itulah. Dia boleh started to hallucinate. Ada yang pergi kepada liver. Dia akan jadi liver toxicity tu, dia akan, kalau dia very extreme, they will go for liver transplant even.
Really? Mushroom poisoning?
Mushroom poisoning. Yeah.
Even for the one yang cakap tadi yang
yang tadi chloroquine tu tak.
tu.
Yang mushroom pendek tu dia sekadar cirit-berit. Tapi dia akan dehydrate lah.
That's the most common form lah.
In Malaysia, yeah.
Alright. Tadi you mention kalau orang poisoning, you kata species sample tu hantar ke MRC. How long does it take untuk
I think about 2 to 3 days lah. Kalau tak, kita pun boleh identify just by looking at that. Kita boleh cakap terus lah. Kalau dia macam, contohnya kalau you tak ada sample, you ada yang, the only samples that you have is actually your leftover food. So susah sikit nak identify macam ni. So we have send for DNA sequencing.
Okay. So katalah a young boy, dia ambil science stream at school and he likes your work so much. So what would be your pesanan to them, your message to them?
Oh, they like mushroom so much.
They like to find medicinal properties in mushroom. So what would your message to them?
My message to them is that if you have the interest, you are already at the right path. So keep the interest and keep the curiosity, because I think nowadays students are actually lacking curiosity, and also we are living in the digital world. Everything you can find online, and then my pesanan is to keep the curiosity, and if you like mushrooms, you can always explore the different world of mushrooms actually. Yeah.
What kind?
Like for example, we are talking a lot on circular economy. Okay. So mushrooms is using as a perfect example as a circular economy, because penanaman cendawan, mushroom growing itself is a economy itself, meaning that in order to produce cendawan from the bongkar cendawan, we actually pack the mushroom back, which is a substrate. Substrate. Actually, they don't grow on soil. They go on substrate. The substrates are also called lignocellulose substrate.
Bukan kayu ke?
Kayu lah, kayu. So contohnya kayu getah, sebut kayu getah, oil palm frond, sugar cane bagasse, and also like let's say rice paddy, rice husk, rice straw. Kalau overseas they use cotton seed, saw, cotton whatsoever. Those are actually agricultural waste. So agricultural waste tu you tak boleh nak bakar ke tanam, but you can actually use it to cultivate mushrooms. That is circular economy. So like for example, from waste to food. So they actually are living on deadly matter lah. Cendawan akan tumbuh from deadly matter. Deadly matters are kayu lah. So you don't have to like bakar the kayu or what, do pyrolysis or what. You just convert it into cendawan. And then let's say contohnya this is the substrate, right? So the cendawan tumbuh atas. Then the substrate, what you do? You boleh buat compost. You boleh buat compost, and Mushroom Research Center also use the substrate to, let's say, extract enzyme or put it into fish feed. Dia boleh jadi fish feed ataupun farming.
Yang tadi substrate
yang dah
boleh jadi fish feed pula.
Boleh jadi fish feed, boleh jadi contribute to compost untuk jadi gardening juga. So dia macam circular economy lah.
Apa nama tadi? Tadi saya nak tanya, because you said you came here with your background in microbiology kan. So ada tak jalan lain yang boleh pergi ke buat mushroom study juga macam ni?
Yeah, microbiology of course is the first step, but to be frank, in microbiology curriculum in Malaysia, fungi which is kulat dia tak diajar banyak pun. So yeah, so maybe that we can improve on our curriculum on teaching fungi more. And other than that, like for example, pertanian pun okay. Kalau you interested in pertanian, okay. Peladangan okay, cendawan ada diajar. And then biomedicine also, biotechnology. I forgot biotechnology also. Can.
Oh, I thought biotech ajar alat-alat saja. No.
Tak, biotech. Kalau biotech tu saya ada collaborator Dr. Kadir. Faculty Science, dia buat bioreactor. Alat-alat lah bioreactor. Dia culture dia punya mycelium.
Mycelium is what?
Mycelium is dia punya dia ni fruiting body, tapi mycelium tu dia ada macam dia punya akar. Dia punya root.
Dia jadi akar saja.
Dia jadi mycelium. Sebenarnya semua ni adalah mycelium juga, tapi mycelium itu macam dia group together. Dia jadi thicken, dia jadi tumpat, dia jadi fruiting body. So mycelium tu Kadir is doing in the big bioreactor. So dia cultivate dia punya mycelium to produce compound for biopharmaceutical use and things like that.
Itu lain lah.
Itu lain punya.
Itu bukan fruiting body punya.
Dia bukan fruiting body.
So compound tu ada dekat different parts of
different parts of mushrooms. Mycelium tu adalah mycelium yang kalau kat wild tu dia tumbuh di bawah pokok. Dia macam symbiosis dengan akar pokok. Dia akan macam tu. Kalau dia situasi yang baik, contohnya selepas hujan, so mycelium itu akan keluar jadi fruiting body.
Sebab tu lepas hujan keluar cendawan tu. Because mycelium tu dah sedia ada.
Dah sedia ada. That's why they say fungi is the biggest organism in the world. Bukan ikan paus ke, bukan gajah, tapi adalah fungi. Sebab dia macam wifi tau. Tapi wifi bawah tanah. Sebab mycelium tu lah. Habis tu pokok. I'm talking non-stop. Pokok dalam hutan yang tinggi-tinggi tu, sebab mycelium mushrooms lah yang tolong dia untuk absorb nutrient.
Bukan dia punya akar sendiri
Dia akar dia, so contohnya kalau akar dia sekadar tumbuh kat sini aja. So akar tu tak boleh nak extend.
Betul.
So kalau dia nak more nutrient, mycelium akan berkomunikasi dengan akar tu untuk
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Walaupun tempat yang tak ada fruiting, tak keluar cendawan, mycelium is still there.
Contohnya macam you punya
macam ni kita nak tahu
selagi dia tak muncul fruiting body tu, you takkan tahu. Contohnya you punya tandas. Sometimes kalau you ada kayu kan kat tandas dia, sebab dia lembab, dia humidity high, right? So kadang-kadang dia akan keluar cendawan, tapi you tak tahu selama ni dalam kayu tu dah ada mycelium. Cuma dia tunggu masa untuk tumbuh je.
Mycelium ada kat mana-mana. So mycelium ni adakah, is it an organism ke?
Dia mushroom lah. Dia fungi lah. Dia mushroom lah dia tu. Cuma dia tak mature lagi untuk jadi fruiting body.
So as a organism, dia dalam bentuk mycelium pun dia dah berfungsi lah.
Dia dah berfungsi, betul.
Dia fruiting body ni untuk kita kan. Kita eat them, use them. But as an organism, fungi tu dalam bentuk mycelium pun
dia dah consider hidup and living lah. So masa kita, like I always go to school and give talk. So contohnya we say fungi live on roti, right? Kalau roti dah expired, sometimes you nampak yang bintik-bintik hitam tu. That one is actually fruiting body. That one is not mushroom, tapi
dah fruiting body lah.
Dah fruiting body dah.
Semua macam tu.
That's what I call mucous species. So the students akan tanya lah, can we just take out, buang saja yang bintik-bintik hitam tu, makan the rest. Sebab yang lain tu pun is actually look very white, right? Like looks okay. So our answer is no. You have to discard all the roti. Sebab yang
kalau masa toaster okey tak?
Boleh juga kalau
Dia panas dia tak mati, dia mati kan?
dia mati. So kalau dia hitam kat sini tapi yang lain tu dah ada mycelium dia. Dah ada mycelium dia. Yang bintik-bintik hitam tu
masuk toaster dia.
tak dinasihatkan lah. Sebab kalau you punya gut too strong, stomach you too strong, okay lah. Kalau better buang lah. Kalau orang tua ke kanak-kanak dia tak tahan. Macam tu lah.
But then tadi benda tu floating body walaupun
floating
benda
body.
tu macam spore. I thought that's just the spore, no?
The spore is even more smaller.
Kecil lagi.
Kecil lagi. That one is actually dia punya ni, tapi dia kepala, dia punya hitam-hitam punya head lah. Macam tu.
Very small lah.
Very small. So baik buang je semua roti tu.
Okay. Learn another new thing today. Selama ni saya buang hitam, saya masuk toaster, saya makan. Dengan kaya kan, dengan lantar sekejap je.
Okay lah. You okay sebab you immune system you bagus.
I see. Selama ni saya ingat okay. Saya okay, orang lain okay kan. Okay. I remember lah what you said. Okay, apa lagi so pesanan banyak lah tanya pesanan ni. Tadi you said you want to continue working on the mushroom.
Yeah.
So moving forward, you nak test on manusia and so on kan. Ada lagi tak macam in terms of research kita cakap general sikit lah. So moving forward UM ni kan, kita kan banyak orang buat research lain. So how do you see yourself as part of that ecosystem lah? You want more apa nama? What's the word you nak diketengahkan lagi ke, or you want to work more with others ke, macam mana? How do you wish research in UM should be conducted? Macam tu lah.
Research in UM
Or in Malaysia.
Research in UM needs to be more collaborative lah. I think needs to be collaborative. That's why I think that, for example, the idea of IIRG is very good, collaborative. In terms of Malaysia wise, I think also collaborative. And also we as a researcher, we have a say lah to actually influence or tell the government what is driving research in Malaysia. So I think young researcher we should be represented more to actually feedback to the mostly on what are the drivers of the research lah, and so that our voice can be heard, something like that.
Okay. I think that's all from me, right?
Yeah.
Shall we? I think you've been a good sport. Sharing us your story from Malacca to KL. And nothing else, don't you?
Okay.
Very good. I hope those people yang minat sains, because sometimes like kids, bila dia minat sains, dia pandai, suka admits, dia nampak medik saja.
Betul.
So one of the reason I go around talking to people is this lah. So bila you minat sains, sebenarnya cabang tu banyak lagi. And now that you are working on mushroom, I think that's very exciting. Saya harap orang lain pun berminat jugalah untuk follow your footsteps. Kita tengok mushroom lain pula. Mushroom yang biasa-biasa tu tak ada benefit macam ada yang selalu kita makan tu lah, oyster mushroom tu.
Macam ni.
Dia sedap saja.
Yang oyster mushroom. Dia okay, dia actually I had a master student baru habis Viva, dia buat anti obesity.
Ni
yang ni sebab dia banyak beta glucan, so dia macam dia boleh keep your body metabolism at a very normal rate lah, and also anti diabetics also.
Kena makan cendawan
sebab dia high protein, caloric value dia sangat low, dan dia pun ada beta glucan dia lah.
So you always on the lookout for all mushroom lah. You didn't just focus on bunga kobosi.
Sometimes depends on the MARDI also. Sometimes MARDI say I want to highlight these mushrooms, that's why they ask us to do mushrooms along that line lah.
I see.
My PhD actually done on Purotus giganteus. Dia adalah abang kepada oyster mushroom dia, sebab dia size dia besar sikit. So depends lah. Sometimes MARDI wanted to highlight that particular species. So we do go according to them pertanian.
So you have very close relationship dengan MARDI lah. MRC ni.
So this is also is good as a fiber source also lah, like belawas, things like that.
Ada lagi bawa apa lagi?
So I bawa dia untuk photography purpose. Actually I plan to bawa the bongkar mushrooms yang dia tumbuh, tapi dia tak tumbuh lagi. Yang ni shiitake mushroom. Shiitake mushroom.
You beli supermarket kan?
Of course, I beli from supermarket.
You don't grow them kan?
We grow them.
Oh, yeah?
Faculty of Science in the mushroom house.
Semua ni jenis ni, all this.
Yes, we grow for research purpose. Sebab kalau saya dari farmasi, saya study perubatan dia. So kalau student biotech, dia study dia punya cara penanaman, optimization.
Okay.
So dia orang akan buat simulasi penanaman. So saya tak mahir kat situ lah. So ada collaborator saya yang mahir. So ini shiitake. Shiitake ada yang ni shiitake fresh. Kalau yang you beli kedai Cina is the dried one lah. The one can be very expensive.
Can you share what's the benefit of that shiitake one?
Shiitake, one of my PhD students is doing. So her name is Ashwini. Shiitake has a lot of content amino acid called ergothioneine.
Okay.
So ergothioneine adalah amino acid yang boleh awet muda. It's good for anti-aging. So ergothioneine.
Anti-obese atau anti-aging?
Ergothioneine lah. This called
Saya mau jadi vegetarian lah lepas ni.
Yeah, that's why there's a reason why vegetarian is more healthy and things like that. They always eat. I'm not a vegetarian. Yeah. So this is actually I saw this. I wanted to buy for my PhD student because this is actually from China. Malaysia, we don't have the temperature to grow this actually. So unfortunately, we have to rely on import. But we are still trying our best to cultivate this in Genting.
Your research boleh guna benda beli kat supermarket ke?
Boleh.
Tak, so ada research kalau kita pergi kat tempat lain, consumable dia kadang-kadang mahal and so on. But yours beli kat supermarket je?
Boleh. We don't mind.
Okay.
Because they are same species, what? Their medicinal properties should be the same. So it's relatively not a high-end research because we can get it from supermarket lah. But
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ada lagi sampel di bawah? Apa?
Tak.
Shiitake, so shiitake is good for anti-aging.
Yeah.
Tadi oyster mushroom good for obesity and so on.
Yeah.
Anti-diabetic also.
Yeah.
And kubis bunga ni tadi good for apa tadi saya dah tulis tadi tu.
Good for
neuron.
Yeah.
Good for memory ya.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this shiitake also is actually good for blood thinning.
Oh.
Like for example, you have high blood pressure or cholesterol tinggi, you can actually eat this. That's why I heard from the doctors is that sometimes they wanted to do like operation like ballooning to actually on the patient. They always ask the patient not to take shiitake before. Diorang tanya lah, ada makan cendawan semalam tak? So they will say like stop eating cendawan for 1 week because it will cause the blood to thin and then sometimes blood clotting will be slowed down. Yeah, so that is the effect of that lah. Yeah.
Menarik ya, very interesting field that you are working on. So well done. So I think that's all for me for today. Lepas ni kita Encik Ani akan ambil gambar profile.
Okay, boleh.
Okay, thank you so much Phan Chia Wei.
Thank you.
All the best for your work.